Poetry for me is one very difficult lesson, and the learners tend to make many mistakes and don't understand the concepts clearly. So what I do is I break poetry up into sections. I started by comparing a poem to a paragraph, so they know that a poem also has a title. A poem gets written in stanzas, not paragraphs. And I even asked them, what do we call a person who writes a story? And they said author, so comparing it again with a story to a poem. So what do we call a person who writes a poem? They are called poets. All right, so by using those comparisons, it makes it really easy for them to grasp and to understand what a poem is.
Let's imagine we are writing a story. Before I start writing my story, what do I do? Right?
Mind map.
It's called a mind map. Now I want to start writing. What do we call the things I used to write? Do we call them steps? What do we call the way I'm writing? Yes, Spencer. We call them? Excellent. We call them paragraphs. Now, let's say I'm done with my beautiful story. What do we call a person who writes a story? What do we call a person who writes a story?
An author.
An author. Excellent. In poetry, I also have a title, a name for my poem. Followed by not paragraphs, I have stanza. Can you say stanza? Stanza. Very good. So each stanza has verses. Verses makes up a stanza. Right. Now, who knows what we call a person who writes a poem?
The poet.
Poet. We call them a poet. Right. A poet is a person who writes a poem. Now, I'm going to show you a poem on the board so I can show you nicely where's the title, where's the stanza, and what makes up the stanza. Right. We're not reading it yet, I'm just showing you. Our teacher, what do you think that is? That is that, yes? The title, excellent. Now, I see we have these things that look like paragraphs. What do we call them again in poetry? Raise your hand if you can help me. Yes. They are called stanzas. Excellent. Now, each stanza has different verses that make up a stanza.
I read the whole poem for them so they can have a bit of background information. Ask simple questions like, what do you think this poem is about?
Battles that they won. How far the earth is from the singing, shining sun. She counts some in her head. I have to write them down instead. Or use my fingers one by one. What is this poem about? Yes. It's about a wonderful teacher. Is this teacher smart? Yes. The teacher is very smart.
For today, I concentrated on the poetic device rhyme.
Now, the first poetic device that we are going to discuss is rhyme. Now, what is rhyme? Rhyming in poetry is when words sound the same. Do they have to be spelled the same? No. They must sound the same. All right. Now, let's forget about that poem. We are going to play a quick game. We are 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. I'm going to write words for you on the board. Easy words we use every day.
To help them understand the rhyming words, we played a sticky ball game again, where I wrote different kinds of words, easy vocabulary words like ball and bag, easy words for them on the board. Then what I did was I divided them into 4 teams because they're already sitting in 4 different groups, and I gave each group an opportunity to come and play. Where they sat together in pairs, one person had the opportunity to throw the sticky ball to hit a word. Let's say he threw the ball and he threw the sticky ball and it hit the word ball. Then the person he or she sat next to had to give a rhyming word for that word, ball and all, for example. So that's how they got marks, got them to participate very nicely, and they enjoyed it. After all, if you play a game, you must have a winner, and we had a winner, so they enjoyed it very much.
You must give us a rhyming word with school. Alright, do you all understand? If you can give us a rhyming word, your team gets points. Let's start with team number 1. Jasmine, you can come and throw. Alright, You may throw. Right. The word is school. Shauna? Yes. Pool, like a swimming pool. Excellent. Yes, that's correct. School and pool. Are they spelled the same? Yes. Are they spelled the same? No. Do they sound the same? Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Right. Are you ready? Throw for us. Come. And try and get another word, otherwise it's going to become very difficult. Come, throw a word. Don't kill the ball, okay? Oh, that's an easy one. Ball. What rhymes with ball? Last group. Come and throw for me. Come and throw for me. Alright, get a word for us, Mr. Mugeri. Oh, chair. Alright, let's see if your friend can help. What rhymes with chair? Chair and air. Excellent. They are rhyming words. What have we been doing? We've been identifying rhyming words. Everybody quickly say rhyming words. Rhyming words. Alright, can you please just clap for this thing or say what?
Then we read each stanza again, verse for verse, and they identified the rhyming words for me.
So we want to have a look at rhyme. What is rhyming? We don't know, we know a little, but we are not sure what rhyming is. So I'm going to hand out this poem about our teacher, and we are going to read it together. And I want you to tell me which two words rhyme with one another. Alright?